The Doughnut is the nickname given to the headquarters of the Government Communications Headquarters, a British cryptography and intelligence agency. It is located on a 71-hectare site in Benhall, in the suburbs of Cheltenham, Gloucestershire, in southwest England. GCHQ is the largest single employer in Gloucestershire. Built to modernise and consolidate GCHQ's multiple buildings in Cheltenham, the Doughnut was completed in 2003, and GCHQ moved into the building in 2004. It is the largest building constructed for secret intelligence operations outside the United States. The Doughnut was too small for the number of staff at its completion, and a second building in a secret and undisclosed location in Gloucestershire area now also accommodates staff from GCHQ. The Doughnut is surrounded by car and bicycle parking in concentric rings, and well protected by security. The construction of the building was financed by a private finance initiative, and construction costs were greatly increased after difficulties in transferring computer infrastructure to the building. The building is modern in design and built primarily from steel, aluminium, and stone. An annual community day is held at the Doughnut to highlight the charitable and volunteer work by GCHQ staff in the local Cheltenham community. Background: the construction of the Doughnut in 2003 consolidated the operations previously spread across two sites into a single location, replacing more than 50 buildings in the process. The last staff from the nearby GCHQ site at Oakley were transferred to the Doughnut in late 2011. The design of the Doughnut reflects GCHQ's intended new mode of work after the end of the Cold War, with its design facilitating talking among staff, and between them and the director of GCHQ and his subordinates. It was estimated that anyone in the building could reach any other worker within 5 minutes. At a cost of £330 million, the construction of the Doughnut was funded by a private finance initiative put forward by a collective that included British facilities management and construction company Carillion, the Danish security company Group 4/Falck, and the British telecommunications company BT Group. The consortium are scheduled to be paid £800 million to maintain the Doughnut for 30 years. The creation of the Doughnut was the largest PFI project to date for the British government. The building was designed by the British architect Chris Johnson for the American architectural firm Gensler, and constructed and built by Carillion. In 2004, the chairman of the Commons Public Accounts Committee, Edward Lee, criticised the increasing cost of GCHQ's move to the Doughnut. Lee said that it was astonishing GCHQ did not realise the extent of what would be involved much sooner. Lee had said in 2003 that GCHQ's original estimate for the cost of the move was staggeringly inaccurate. For security reasons, GCHQ moved its own computers and technical infrastructure to the Doughnut, which caused the cost of its move to increase from £41 million to £450 million over 2 years. The moves of MI5 and the SIS to new buildings had also cost more than 3 times their original estimates due to issues with transferring computers. HM Treasury paid £216 million toward a newly agreed budget of £308 million, having initially refused to finance the original high figure. The final cost of GCHQ's move to their new headquarters was more than 7 times the original estimate. The complexity of the computer network at GCHQ was responsible for the increase in costs. Issues with the network were found while preparing computers for the Millennium Bug. Simply shutting down each computer individually before restarting them in the Doughnut would have left GCHQ unable to complete key intelligence work for 2 years, while moving their electronics according to the original schedule without unacceptable damage to intelligence gathering would cost £450 million. In a review of GCHQ's move in 2003, the National Audit Office said government ministers might never have approved the consolidation of facilities had the final cost been known. Design: the Doughnut is divided into 3 separate 4-story structures, identical in design and connected at the top and bottom. With a total floor area of 140,000 square meters, the building contains 2 circular blocks, internally divided by a street covered in glass. Construction materials were primarily steel, aluminium, and stone, particularly granite and local limestone from the Cotswolds. Designers incorporated recycled materials in the steelwork and the construction of desks. The design of the Doughnut was subsequently nominated for an award to highlight improvements to the built and landscaped environment given by Cheltenham Civic Society. A circular walkway named the street runs throughout the building. An open-air garden courtyard lies in the middle of the Doughnut. This garden is large enough to contain the Royal Albert Hall. Below the garden are banks of supercomputers. The Doughnut is 21 meters high and 180 meters in diameter. The structure of the Doughnut is designed to minimize any potential effect of a fire or a terrorist attack on the building. It also includes independent power generators which can supply power to the facilities in an emergency. About 3,000 kilometers of fiber optics were installed in the Doughnut by British Telecom, and about 10,000 km of electrical wiring were used in the building. The Doughnut is surrounded by car and bicycle parking in concentric rings, guarded by a 2-meter metal fence and half a dozen vehicle checkpoints. The Doughnut is served by an underground road. Facilities available to staff at the Doughnut include a 600-seat restaurant, shops, a gym, and a prayer or quiet room. Exhibits from the history of GCHQ are displayed throughout the building, including the radios used by the Portland spy ring. History: the Doughnut was officially opened by Queen Elizabeth II and the Duke of Edinburgh in 2004. The then Prime Minister of the United Kingdom, Gordon Brown, visited the Doughnut in 2008, and praised the staff working there in a speech. The Doughnut has twice been visited by Charles, Prince of Wales, since its opening. Charles was accompanied by Camilla, Duchess of Cornwall in 2011, on his second visit to the Doughnut. The Doughnut was already too small for the number of GCHQ staff at its completion, as a vast expansion in the number of employees had occurred as a consequence of the September 11 attacks in 2001. The staff numbered almost 6,500 by 2008. The addition of a 2-story office block and a 3-story car park to the Doughnut was proposed in 2008, but eventually suspended in 2011. The new buildings were intended to facilitate the arrival of 800 staff from GCHQ's former site at Oakley. Though it was initially felt that the Doughnut would be adequate for the new staff, 600 contractors working on technical projects for GCHQ were eventually relocated in a secret undisclosed building in the Gloucestershire area. The parking of cars by GCHQ staff on residential roads has caused annoyance among local residents in Benhall. It was believed that the arrival of new staff may have further affected local parking, but GCHQ stated the presence of the new employees would have been offset by redundancies. Access to the Doughnut is rarely granted to representatives from the media, but it was visited for the March 2010 BBC Radio 4 documentary GCHQ, Cracking the Code, and by the Sun newspaper in December 2010. See also: the two other headquarters of British intelligence agencies. The SIS building, a Euro headquarters of the Secret Intelligence Service, Thames House, a Euro headquarters of the Security Service. References. Bibliography: Aldrich, Robert J. GCHQ. London, Harper Press. ISBN A978-0-00-731266-5A.